This is Limited Engagement. How did you end up meeting Nico Case?
I was in the Grievous Angels, and she was doing her stuff. We were both. She was on Mint out of Canada and licensed to Bloodshot in America. So she was in. She had moved out of Seattle because she had gotten, priced out of living in Seattle. She couldn't afford to live there anymore.
Gotcha. She lived in Tucson for a little while, right?
Yeah. But this was interim because she didn't, nobody knew who she was. We'd go, I met her. She was sleeping on one couch at the guy who ran Bloodshot, his house. She was sleeping on one couch. I was sleeping on another couch. I was there recording the Sally Timms record. So, just, hanging out, we got to be friends. And then she asked me if I would record on a song. So I said, yeah, sure. And we went in and did that song Favorite that was on the Bloodshot 5-year anniversary record. And it was me, her, Tom Ray, who neither of us knew, who's been in Nico's band like this much less long than I have. And Andrew Bird played violin. And not that many people even knew who Bird was back then. So we went in and cut that track, and then we just became friends that way. Then I would see her, and we were in Memphis mixing a record, and I played with her in Memphis, and so I was in South by Southwest, and I did 14 shows because I was just I'm driving out with my stuff. Well, I was going out there to play with Calexico. We had 5 shows, and I was like, I'm here. I'm going to have a car. Anybody want me to play? So I played with her at Antone's and a bunch of stuff. And she literally came up to the hotel room, and she and my wife became instant fast friends. And she was like, would you go on tour with me? I can only pay you $15 a day. And I said, yeah. And the reason she said she could only pay me $15 a day is because she knew that was the minimum that she could get away with if we didn't make any money.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? Or the most she could get away with if we didn't make any money. Because it was right on the cusp of that who the fuck know who anybody was at that point. And we went out and we did well. And she paid me a lot more. And then so I stayed in the band, and I've just been in the band ever since. It's been 17 years. We started in 2000.
Wow. So you were one of the original boyfriends then?
There were other guys in the late 90s that were the original boyfriends.
Okay.
And then that band kind of fell apart because of who can tour like that?
Yeah.
Making $15. I mean, I had done it with the Grievous Angels making $5 a day. I mean, it's what happens out there at that level because you're just barely making enough gig money to pay for gas. And we were sleeping in a van or all of us in one Motel 6 room, that kind of stuff. And did that with Case too. It was just, there's no way around it at that point. And there's no romance about it. It was just complete, constant, DIY getting around. We hadn't, she was on Mint, Bloodshot was releasing. We had no tour support. There was no such thing as tour support. We had to cough up that stuff for ourselves. And, so we just started touring and then, the band morphed into getting Tom Ray on bass, upright bass player. And, we had a drummer and another guitar player. And then we got the opportunity to open up for Nick Cave on the West Coast and in the Midwest. But he did not want a drummer. He was doing his own thing. It was his own. It wasn't the Bad Seeds. It was Nick Cave.
Okay.
And he had a grand piano right in the middle of the stage. And what's his name? White? What's his name?
Warren Ellis?
No, the drummer from Dirty Three or from Warren was there.
Okay.
Warren played violin on maybe 4 songs. He had a girl bass player, and then what's his name? Great drummer, played on only 5 or 6 songs, but most of it was just him. So he didn't want a drummer just beating away. So we decided to do it as a 4-piece, and it was me and Tom. I played all my nonsense, and Tom played bass and figured out how to kick the tambourine to give some sort of beat.
Yeah.
And then Joey Burns played cello. And so that first thing we did we did that way, and it worked really well. People loved it. But Joey couldn't do it because Calexico was coming up.
Gotcha.
So we decided to just do 3. And then so we ended up touring as a 3-piece for almost 5 years. But that got her voice noticed. I mean, Jesus, we were making hardly any noise under that thing. And her voice and the songwriting was the showcase of all of it. I mean, that's how we got Austin City Limits. That's how we got all that stuff. And that was pre any band that that what we have today, because the songwriting is evolved and everything has evolved into, what it is now.
It is now.